Hello and welcome to Find Out Nation. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie,
I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
and we are here to explore what happens when a nation fucks around and they start finding out.
Indeed.
We almost had a very different podcast today.
We did.
Over the weekend, there was a lot of wondering if Donald Trump was not with us any longer, departed the earth. If he had departed the earth. We all thought he might have finally succumbed to whatever horrible sicknesses he has. But alas, today he finally came out and had a press conference that proved that no, he is not gone.
Yes, unfortunately.
So give us some countdowns. And I think we should, you know what we should do?
What?
I bet there's like an Etsy witch out there that will tell us the anticipated date of Donald Trump's death. And we should add that to our countdown.
Oh, and I bet the Simpsons have had like multiple episodes, I feel like, on this.
Right. I feel like you and I could come up with our next date and add that to our countdown. But so we'll work on that for next week. Yes. In the meantime, give us our countdowns, ma'am.
We are 426 till the midterms.
Okay.
We are 225 in.
Wow. I feel like that's getting pretty high, right? Like that's a high number.
It is.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Yeah. And I don't know that the golf tracker, it has not been updated since the weekend prior to Labor Day. But I also feel like while there were these Bigfoot type pictures of him from a distance because they wouldn't let the press pool get close to him this weekend, we also didn't have any kind of visual proof that I saw anyway that he was on a golf course. So it may be up to date. It's up in the air. So he's still at a solid 55 days, 25% of his presidency golfing. So that number has not changed since last week when we podcasted.
Okay. The Bigfoot-like pictures, that's exactly
they were crazy, right?
Grainy, yes. From the distance.
Yes.
Pictures. So, you know, the number of memes that I've read that are like, live your life in a way where the 80% of the world doesn't rejoice at the thought of you dying.
Can you imagine?
I mean, seriously. So I kept having like are we having a weekend at Bernie's moment here and there?
Yes.
Today at his press conference, which we'll talk about his press conference in a minute, but in his press conference, you know, a reporter asked, "Hey, did you hear that there were reports that you might be dead over the weekend?" And he's like, "No, I hadn't heard any of that," which really,
what a liar.
Really. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then he's like, you know, Joe Biden would go a month at a time without having a press conference and no one questioned it. But I go, you know, a few days without a press conference and it's a big story.
Well,
and I'm like, yeah, because you maniacal, egotistical fuckface has a press conference just to satisfy your own ego.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and it's not just the press conference. He wasn't really posting on Truth Social. He wasn't calling into Fox and Friends. He wasn't doing any of the normal behavior that we've come to recognize as normal for him since last Tuesday.
Right.
So we had every reason to believe that
it was
Dictator
at least
Kankles
a possibility.
Was on the downhill slide.
At least a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I noticed I did not get to watch the presser today, but I saw some like clips of it when I was watching the news tonight.
Me too.
And I did notice that like of the clips I saw, still very much like we're holding our hands on the lectern now. We're not gesticulating a lot. We're like they've made him very aware of like you need to hide your hands because it's a huge speculation.
I will say that like he did look fairly healthy today. Much
he looked
to
his
my
normal self.
Yeah. That's right. He responded his normal self as well. So at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But it was pretty shocking the amount of people this weekend that were like, is it here? Is it time?
Here?
Did it happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, in all fairness, then I guess we wouldn't mind releasing the Epstein files, right? If that
Right. Then
happens,
let's just do it. Yeah.
then let's just do it. That's exactly
Full
right.
steam ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this has actually been a pretty busy, every week I think that we're not going to have too much to talk about. And then every week we have so much to talk about. It's
I
crazy.
know. Yes.
Since we did talk about the Epstein files, I'll just quickly say that today, the House Oversight Committee released like 33,000 pages of the files. In all fairness, like Representative Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on House Oversight, said, after careful review, the Oversight Democrats have found that 97% of the documents received from the Department of Justice were already public. There's no mention of any client list or anything that improves transparency or justice for these victims. GOP Rep Thomas Massey's decision to officially move ahead with his bipartisan bill will force Congress to actually, vote. And so, they had a meeting today with 6 of the victims, I guess, Mike
Okay.
Johnson and several of the House Oversight Committee. And I will tell you that several representatives came out from that conversation basically saying that, like, there's a lot of information that has not been made public. There's a lot of information. There are a lot of people that have not been made public. So, Mike Johnson, of course, called recess early so that they didn't have to vote on
Right.
releasing the files. But almost immediately when they came back, Representative Massey and Representative Garcia, they came up with this bipartisan bill that was basically like, we're voting on, like, we're going to vote on it. And they have to have, I think they said 218 votes, if I remember correctly. So the Democrats are 212 votes. Getting 6 Republicans on board to vote for it is like the question. Can they get that done? Because if they do it, then it's done. It bypasses like what the Oversight Committee is doing. So today, after like the conversation was so brutal, like even Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, I will vote yes. I will vote yes. I will break ranks. Nope, I will definitely vote yes for whatever bill that they bring forward because we have to release this information.
So, okay. So two things on that. One, do we think she's saying that because Trump is not implicated? And two, where do we think Mike Johnson sits on that? Because I don't know how anyone sits with these victims and professes their Christianity as much as Mike fucking Johnson does and doesn't say exactly what MTG is saying.
So GOP Rep Nancy Mace left the meeting in tears. Mike Johnson told reporters that the testimonials were heartbreaking and infuriating and that there were tears in the room. There was outrage. Democratic Representative David Min of California told reporters there's a lot of stuff we're learning that the government has access to that has not been made available to us. We want to know what we don't know and where we can get it. I came away from this feeling like that first tranche of documents that we received was completely useless and that they are withholding a lot of information right now. There was bipartisan agreement in the room to subpoena more information from victims because the first set of documents didn't it was totally useless. And so they're like, we're going to start subpoenaing people so that we get more information because there's so much more information, so many more names that need to be investigated.
I'm dying to know.
I am too. And the fact is, like, what I really appreciate. So I was pissed when I found out that the Oversight Committee was having like this closed door meeting with these 6 victims. They decided to do like a press conference instead of doing an actual like sit in front of Congress and, have an actual like televised conversation.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that didn't happen. But I am delighted to see the fact that they are actually like doing something. You know what I'm taking this seriously and are actually going. So to your point, like the article I read was about how Mike Johnson is like walking this tightrope between Donald Trump and like, yeah, we need answers, we need information, we need data, we need all of that to be made public. So I'll be interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like Representative Massey, he had said people want these files released. I mean, look, it's not the biggest issue in the country. It's taxes, job, the economy. Those are always the big issues, but you really can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt. And so like that's where he's coming from. And like other lawmakers are like, I read the bill. It's perfectly written. It protects the victims. Like, sorry. It could not have been a better written bipartisan bill to get. And so
Well,
they're thinking they'll have no problem getting at least 6
good.
Republicans to side with them to release the
Good,
files.
because at this point, if they don't,
Mm-hmm.
and he pardons Maxwell, fucking game over. Like it's
No
like
shit.
you will never ever get the taint of that conspiracy
Yeah.
off of him and off
Well,
of the rest of the Republicans.
I agree. And to be honest, like I'm curious because I honestly believe that Donald Trump's name is, I'm sure, in the files, and
Oh,
but I don't know why he'd be protecting that so much when we all know it already. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
We all know he's a
he
predator.
knows we know it. He
Yeah.
knows his followers know it.
Yes, and that
Like,
they didn't care and voted for him twice.
right. So at the end of the day, like, like, what else is in there? What else are we
Right.
hiding? Like, what else could come out that, like, it feels like it has to be bigger than that. So I'll be really interested in
Yeah.
what we get.
What's in it? Yeah.
Okay, the other big news this week that literally just happened earlier, which felt a little bit like a distraction,
Mhm.
was the Trump is moving forward on sending the National Guard to Chicago. He is now
Jesus.
also threatening to send the National Guard to Baltimore. He talked about it today in his press conference. Of course, Pritzker and all the Chicago people are like, absolutely not. We do
Yeah.
not want you here. Please, like, do not. So the article that I read from CNN said the state received its first contact about federal intervention on Saturday when the head of the Illinois State Police got a call from Gregory Bovino, chief of the Border Patrol's El Centro, California sector, saying immigration agents would come to Chicago, according to Pritzker. The governor said no further details were offered. Pritzker urged the public not to let the presence of federal agents spark tensions in the city, but asked residents to look out for neighbors and to film interactions with federal agents and share them publicly. He said, authoritarians thrive on your silence. Be loud for America, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mhm.
The Illinois Attorney General has already come out and said, if Trump comes here, I'm suing him. So,
Mm.
like, shocker. Of course, he
Mhm.
is going to sue him.
Mhm.
But Trump is saying that he has this obligation to protect the citizens of this country, and that includes in places like Chicago and Baltimore, which I thought Baltimore was a weird.
It's because of Wes Moore.
And I get it, but I'm like, he has alienated so many Democratic politicians. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, I'm
Mhm.
just surprised that's where the second place that he's focused
That he's
on.
going after Baltimore and not New York next, because I
Yes,
expected it to be New York before
yes,
Baltimore. But
yes,
I'm sure it's because because he's being sued because they tried to or did attempt to put, stop the funding for the bridge repairs
yeah.
from them. And, it's just, I,
Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
so I was amused because David Turner, who's a spokesman for Moore, emphasized that the Maryland Democratic governor doesn't support sending the National Guard into the state's largest city. This was his statement. While we try to decipher exactly what the president meant today, the governor has been consistently clear. The use of the National Guard for municipal policing is theatrical and not sustainable. I just
Oh my
love
God.
the patronizing message of,
Yes.
well, we try to figure out what the fuck Trump was trying to say
Yeah,
with
exactly.
his addled peepaw mind.
Exactly.
Let me just be
Yes.
real clear. Don't
Yeah.
come here.
Don't come here. We don't want
This
you.
is on top of today when a federal judge actually blocked U.S. president administration from using military in, I keep saying Louisiana because I've been like fucking focused on like the 20th anniversary of Katrina.
Oh,
And so I
Katrina.
keep seeing LA and I keep like going Louisiana.
Yeah.
Anyway, Los Angeles. And
Yeah.
so there was a federal judge that came around and said, there's already this law known as Posse Comitatus Act.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm going to be a meme after saying that totally fucking wrong. So please, if there's any lawyers out there that can correct me, feel free. But regardless, it limits the use of the military for domestic enforcement by employing troops to control crowds and bolster federal agents during immigration and drug raids. They, of course, we know how much they've deployed. But the one thing that Trump has said is that he brought in the National Guard specifically in LA to protect ICE agents that were working in LA. And so because of that, it doesn't apply. So I'm fairly certain that the appeal will end up going through and that they'll be able to continue leaving National Guard troops in LA. But I at least am does it give him pause to not send people to Chicago? And then I'm like, wait, it's Trump. He doesn't give a
Trump.
fuck. Yeah, he's not thinking
And
about it. What
I
an
mean,
idiot.
I think that, I mean, yeah, no, because I think his biggest hope is that it would go all the way to the Supreme Court and then he'll win entirely and he'll be able to put troops in every American city, major American city. And that's I mean, I told
that's
you.
what authoritarians do.
Correct. They wear people down so that they get used to seeing military in their cities when there's not normally military in their cities, and then it just becomes your everyday.
Yeah. I'm curious how Chicago is going to go. So, in LA, it was so focused around immigration and border patrol and ICE that a lot of the protests were specific to, immigration laws and
Right.
immigration problems.
Yeah.
In Chicago, it's going to be different. I guess there was this whole band of a bunch of priests that sent a letter to Trump saying, please don't focus on this.
Oh.
We don't need you. Focus on education and this and that. So
Mm.
it's different. It's a different vibe of people being against whatever's happening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Trump sends in the National Guard for the same reason, which is I want to arrest all the brown people. And this way I can do it because I don't have enough ICE agents. But at the end of the day, I'm just I wonder what these protests are going to look like, because Pritzker has already said that he anticipates protests happening.
Yeah.
Through
I mean,
all of
and
this. You know what
because
I'm
Trump
saying?
is saying that, I don't remember exactly what he, but that Chicago is a hellhole because of
Oh,
the
yeah.
crime is out of control. The
Death
same shit he's
City.
saying about DC, that crime is out of control. And then, their shit's the same as DC.
I know.
Crime statistics are down.
Yeah.
But so yeah, he's not even, at this point, it's no different than DC. He's not even pretending that it's about immigration.
No. Well, because to your point, when they came out today, I can't remember who it was that published it. And it was here's 13 cities that have worse crime rates than Chicago. And St. Louis was on that.
Yep.
Shocking. I'm so surprised. But of course, we're not going to send in National Guard
To a
troops to
red
St.
state.
Louis because Missouri's a red state. Exactly right. And it's just
Yep.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Well, and to your point, the more that there's the military there, then the military can be present during elections and this and that. And it's just
and I think, isn't that what, I mean, we have to assume that that's the ultimate goal, is that it's going to wear us down. We're going to get used to seeing the military in our cities. And then, yeah, when they're around for these elections come next November,
they're intimidating people and making sure that people will stay away. And 100%, because, yeah. So I'll be honest, this to me, this I'm curious what Trump voters think of sending National Guards to these cities that just don't have the crime problem that they are saying that they do. Do Trump voters believe that crime is so bad, and do they actually believe that this is helping, or is this let people do what he wants so that he, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, and even if crime is out of control, they are not asking the White House for assistance. He is overstepping his fucking bounds.
I know.
That, so that would be my question to MAGA too, is even if crime is fucking New York City in the 70s bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, or in the 80s crack epidemic bad.
Yeah.
What they're not asking for assistance. He is throwing the military into these cities on on a flimsy pretense
Well,
that he's helping to lower crime statistics.
right, because to your point, the whole purpose, like the whole philosophy behind the Republican Party has always been states' rights. Less federal regulation, more states' rights.
Yep.
Like states should be
Small
able to do what
government.
they want to do, right? Small government, exactly right. Now, I get that Republicans have also always been very pro military and
Yeah.
pro military spending. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, don't you have a problem with this specifically? Because this goes against like the fundamental, like,
Well,
the fundamental beliefs of your
yes,
party.
because when there have been times that the National Guard has had to come in because of the LA riots,
Yeah.
when they had to come in to
I
the
mean, the
St.
LA
Louis
riots were in our lifetime. Like, I
yeah,
remember that
yeah.
happening, right?
And
Yes.
when they had to come in to the St. Louis suburb, after Michael, oh my god, I just forgot his last name. Anyway, but when there's been rioting, when there's been issues and they've had to come in, that shit's on the nightly news. It's
Yeah.
every fucking time you turn the TV on, you're
Yeah.
seeing what's happening in these cities and shit is literally fucking burning. And, here's all the things. Michael, in Ferguson. Um,
Yeah.
but like, that's not happening. You're seeing the National Guard pick up trash and
Yeah.
fucking lay mulch around the cherry
Yeah.
trees, guys. Like,
Yeah.
this is such a fucking waste of taxpayer dollars and a
Yes.
waste of what our military is supposed to be for.
Yeah.
This is not what our military is meant to be doing.
Nope. No, but we're doing it anyway.
I guess, yeah, like fuck.
Yeah, and I just like this is where I would love to sit down with a MAGA and actually like be like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
Explain it
help
to
me
me like I'm 5.
understand.
Help me
Yes.
understand exactly.
Yes, how you're okay with
Speaking
this.
of wasting billions of dollars, and I'm not talking about the tackiest ballroom in America. Trump also, the whole purpose of him calling his press conference today was to announce that Space Command is going to move to Alabama.
That
Which,
was the whole point of it. I didn't know what I just saw that there was like supposed to be a big announcement at 1 o'clock our time, and then I didn't get to listen to it at all in the moment. That's what it
yeah,
was.
Trump announces Space Command is moving to Alabama, which I did not. So this has been interesting to me to kind of read about because I didn't realize like Space Command is different from Space Force. So like
Oh.
I watched this show Space Force
Yeah.
on Netflix. I think it's
Yes.
hilarious. Like I
Yes.
am super pro Space Force. Like yes.
Yeah.
Um
So what is Space Command?
so Space Command really is like, so it's monitoring. So Space Force is if there are bad things that happen in space, we would send Space Force out to fight the bad stuff. Space Command is monitoring space to look for, Chinese satellites and like there. So these
Are these
special, I
offshoots of
didn't know any
NASA?
of this. So special commands, there's like a whole bunch of different special commands units in the military. Like one is special ops. So like
Mm-hmm.
they're the team that's in charge of special ops. And then there's one that's like uh central ops or something like that. And they monitor like the Middle East and like certain
Mm.
areas. So they're like, it's almost like specialized command centers that focus on one specific topic and then monitor for activity. And anyway,
Okay.
so I did not know this, but anyway, the U.S. Space Force military branch is different from U.S. Space Command. Command is also called Spacecom, and I guess it was like absorbed into a different area back in like 2002 when Trump came back in 2016. I think he reinstated it,
Okay.
and they temporarily opened it in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
So Colorado
Which
Springs in
is where
Colorado.
NORAD's at, right? Isn't that where
Yeah.
NORAD's at?
So I guess Colorado Springs and then I guess Colorado Springs and like Huntsville are two of the biggest
Mm-hmm.
spaceports
Mm-hmm.
out there because
Yes.
and there are military bases there because of course these are military. So all these military people have to have bases to live in.
And
And
Huntsville's
so
where Space Camp is.
uh, Huntsville's where Space Camp is, which you've gone to because you're the coolest person I know. But so what Trump wants to do is move the headquarters for Space Command or Spacecom to Huntsville, Alabama. It's not exactly like he talked about always having it there in Huntsville, Alabama. Joe Biden came along and said, well, how much is it going to cost? And they're like, well, it's going to displace 1,400 workers. 1,400
Mm.
military families now have to move. It'll cost quite a bit of money. Well, when Trump had put together like his proposal of why it needs to be in Alabama, they're like, oh, this will save us $462 million because it's the cheapest city in the entire freaking country to live in and blah, 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 which that's not wrong. But what they basically did was when they wrote the report, they didn't budget for like making the move and moving about like it.
Of course they didn't.
Right. Like it had only like a quarter of what it'll actually cost to make the move. And so when Joe Biden had the what is it, government oversight committee or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like went through the actual report, they're like, no, this is really going to cost taxpayers like $1 billion.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so they're like, we shouldn't move. And so Joe Biden's like, fine, scrap the plans, just leave them where they are. It's fine. So now, because Colorado is a blue state, Donald Trump's like, they allow mail-in voting. And so we're going to punish them by removing all of Spacecom and sending them to Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh
Even
my
though
God.
like a bunch of other states allow mail-in voting. Of
Mail-in
course,
voting.
this is
Even though
this was
he
his
does
reason.
mail-in voting from Florida.
That's right. This was his reason why he was moving it and the reason why he had his press conference today. So
Jesus
you're
Christ.
welcome.
I hate this man.
I like the stupidity is
Yeah.
rampant. And so this weekend, when we all thought Donald Trump was dead,
Yeah.
these are the kind of things that like I would hope that JD Vance would not spend his time on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think JD Vance is terrible as well,
Mm-hmm.
but at least JD Vance is a politician. So I'm hopeful that he wouldn't spend his time on these things and he would spend them on other more important things. You know what I'm saying?
I think, can we talk about this for a real quick second? And I don't want to
Yeah.
derail from all the other topics that we have,
No.
but this is kind of, I think that this will be interesting because we've had this near death experience, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I wonder your thoughts on Vance because the videos that I saw of the presser today, all his lackeys, like Hegseth and all of them are standing behind him and they're all nodding along like the fucking puppets that they are.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder your thoughts on Vance's ability because you know that once he goes, this puts a fracture in MAGA.
Yes.
So do you think Vance has the ability to hold it together
to keep the cult of personality.
Yes.
I feel like weren't you the one that talked about the cult of personality this weekend when we were talking about it?
Oh, maybe.
I can't remember.
I don't know if it was me or Andrew. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and I had, it was my birthday weekend. So I had a lot of celebrating. And so I had two conversations, both talking about the possibility that Donald Trump was dead.
It might have been your Sunday people.
Right. It might have been like, Kelly or someone over there. But anyway, one of the things that we talked about was exactly this. Like Donald Trump is a cult of personality. Yeah. He is somebody that everyone, and he is so like, either you tout my story, my line, what I tell you, or you're out. Like you're done. And as long as you continue to do whatever he wants you to do, you get to stay there. I don't think JD Vance can convince people that same way. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think, no, I agree. I don't know that he doesn't have the ability to browbeat people in the way that Trump does.
Right.
And he is such a fucking clown, but so is Trump. But I mean, I could very well see that. I mean, I could see the head Nazi saying to him, like,
Yes.
you're going to do what I'm going to tell you to do until it's time for you to run on your own. And then you're going to get the fuck out of the way because you're not running on a ticket.
Right. So I'm almost curious, to exactly your point, if he was allowed on the ticket because Stephen Miller said, "Hey, no matter what, you have to continue spouting the Heritage Foundation and
Yep.
Nazi beliefs that we're giving you." And JD Vance said, "Okay, fine." And all of these other people that surround Trump now will toe that line because of
Mm,
Stephen Miller and the
true.
Heritage Foundation. So
Yeah.
to your point, I don't think JD Vance is going to be able to do shit, but I don't think he's the actual leader anyway. I don't even think
No,
Trump's the actual leader. The
no.
actual leader is the Heritage Foundation. We know that.
Yeah. But the
And so at
difference
the end
with
of the
the,
day, like, that's where I'm saying, like, some of this stupid shit, it that this is not part of the Heritage Foundation's
right, this goes
foundation.
away.
Like, they don't give a
Yeah.
shit about this stuff. So this is where I'm like, at least we won't have this kind of shit
Yeah.
with JD Vance. The one thing I will say is that I don't think that he or they are smart enough, because sometimes Trump comes up with the smartest answer. Like, a clock is right twice a day, right? He
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
comes up. So like, the whole conversation around voting machines and voting and the election getting
The
rigged and then
transient
mail-in voting and
sports,
all of
like
this,
all this kind of shit. Yeah.
I don't think JD Vance or the Heritage Foundation is smart enough to come up with things like that. So that's where
Yeah.
I'm like, does the party fall apart because of
Right.
that? You know what I'm saying?
Because they can't keep the fan base loyal to JD Vance. They can't
Right.
keep, that kind of shit because
Well,
yeah.
and keep in mind that, like, as much as, like, yes, Donald Trump won the popular vote this last election, he has not won the popular vote in any of the other elections he's running, and he's running
Right.
twice. So to your point, like, MAGA is not the majority. And
Right.
so I Donald Trump convinced people to come out and vote for him. I don't think JD Vance can do that. So
Not yeah.
I
True.
just don't, like, I
I'd
don't know.
sure
We'll
love an
see what happens.
opportunity to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm with you
Sooner rather
there.
than later would be great.
Indeed, we definitely need that countdown to the predicted date.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So no, I, really think that it'll be interesting to see what does happen when it happens. Um, so speaking of these people that surround Trump,
Mm,
our favorite Department of Defense, stupid Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary,
yeah.
has approved authorizing sending up to 600 military lawyers to be immigration judges, which you and I were talking about earlier. So they would serve as temporary immigration judges so that they could start. So I guess there's like 3.5 million pending cases. And
Oh
of course,
Jesus.
when Trump took office, like, the caseload just went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, like, 100 immigration attorneys either quit or they were let
There
go
you go.
when Doge went in and did all of their bullshit. And so
Mm-hmm.
now they are trying to add a whole bunch of immigration lawyers, and they're trying to send in military lawyers to do this, to act as immigration judges. Sorry, not lawyers, immigration judges. I guess that when they fired all these immigration judges, that left about 600. So this is doubling the total number of
Wow.
immigration judges. I didn't realize that when I read the article. Did you?
I didn't realize that. No.
Yeah, and so they're sending them, like, I think 150 at a time. And basically there's a union of immigration judges, which I did not realize that that was a thing, but I was like,
Mm-mm.
okay. So the head of this American Immigration Lawyers Association has said that bringing in temporary judges who lack expertise in immigration law says it makes as much sense as having a cardiologist do a hip replacement.
Oh.
I was like, damn. Ben
Oh
Johnson,
shit.
the organization's executive director, said expecting fair decisions from judges unfamiliar with the law is absurd. It's a reckless move this reckless okay, let me start over. This reckless move guts due process and further undermines the integrity of our immigration court system. So, like,
But we all know what they're supposed to come out. I mean, they're just supposed to be like,
yes,
yep, next plane out. Yep, next
yes,
plane out. They don't need to
yes.
know the law. The law is what Hegseth and Trump tell them it is.
I'm positive. And I
Yeah.
am positive that they are vetting these specific military lawyers, looking for people that are going to be hard on
Rubber stamp
immigration,
it.
yeah,
Yep.
just to rubber stamp it. That's exactly right. And I'm like, man, I know we're being blatant here, but Jesus Christ, are we being blatant here?
And there's nothing, I mean, so a lower court maybe what tries to stop him. I mean, just like what we were talking about a while ago, and then like they just hope it goes to the Supreme Court and it goes in their favor, and out. They don't give a fuck. They're
No.
gonna do it.
Yep.
Until I don't know who is gonna hold them responsible.
Well, Trump's tariffs are going to the Supreme Court now. Have you heard this?
No, I have not heard that.
So the Trump administration, basically his tariffs, they are saying are illegal because, so basically what they're saying is that Joe Biden, when he tried to put in the forgive student debt.
Oh yeah.
That
everybody lost their minds.
Right. They killed it because he was making such a law that impacted the federal budget and that enough revenue was impacted that he couldn't just make an executive order, that it had to go through congressional approval. So now they're using that same logic to apply to this, saying, hey, if Joe Biden couldn't do it, Donald Trump couldn't do it either. And now it's going to go to the Supreme Court.
And the fucking Supreme Court.
I know, but I've got to believe that, like, they're not going to contradict themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, how embarrassing would it be for you to say that Joe Biden can't do it specifically for this reason, but Donald Trump can? Like,
no, I don't think Clarence Thomas has any problem saying that.
I don't know. Like, you're going to look really fucking stupid.
He will, but they'll try to come up with some fucking loophole bullshit to like justify why this is okay, but it wasn't back then.
If they do,
I hope you're right.
If they do, I feel like they would have grounds for impeachment for perjury. You know what I'm saying?
I just have no fucking faith in the Supreme Court.
I don't fucking either. Like, honestly, I don't either, but.
And speaking of the Supreme Court real quick, I saw a post online that Janine Pirro, what's her name? The Fox News host that's now in charge of Judge Janine, whatever, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
She posted pictures on social media about being at the Supreme Court, and she was standing in front of the Capitol.
No, she did not.
Yeah, Google that shit real quick.
Janine Pirro, the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia.
Did not. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Embarrassing. That you don't even know. Yeah. Bless her heart. You don't even know what the Supreme Court building looks like?
I love that you're like, bless her heart. Supreme Court building. Janine Pirro's D.C. office appears to confuse government buildings in ex post. I love that it's her D.C. office.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of like
her.
She's a dumb bitch. Yeah.
Correct.
Despite being based in Washington, D.C., staffers in the U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro's office appeared to confuse prominent government buildings on Tuesday when they boasted about touring the Supreme Court in photos taken at the Capitol building.
I mean, I have a hard time believing it's her office because I have a feeling the majority of the people that work in her office fucking live in D.C.
Yeah.
And are very well versed on the goddamn buildings in D.C. And they know what the Supreme Court building looks like versus the fucking Capitol.
Bitch, this is the inside and outside.
Yeah, she's standing, the dome is in the background. And she's like, look at me at the Supreme Court. What the fuck?
Oh my God. And she's supposed to be the U.S. attorney.
Yeah, the Attorney General for D.C. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, you should be embarrassed. Wow, that's hilarious. I did not
Yeah.
see that. So, oh, that's funny. Oh my God, this group. Okay.
They're all a bunch of fucking clowns. They're
They're all
just
a bunch of yes, they're all a bunch of fucking clowns. Speaking of clowns, can
yeah.
we talk a minute? So I told you I've been watching I've watched the Katrina documentary
Yeah.
twice now.
Have you? I haven't
Um,
watched it yet.
bitch, it is so
Oh
Spike Lee
God, it
did
was
it,
so oh, okay.
and it is good, but
Is it? Yeah.
it was a clear opportunity for us to show AJ what the systematic racism looks like in this type of an emergency scenario, because it
Yeah.
is so good at being like,
And
watch,
like,
this is your problem.
did you find yourself still like re-horrified all over again?
Yeah, well, so I can't remember if I told you, but I was there during
Oh,
Katrina.
yes.
I went down there. So I have family in Biloxi. I flew into New Orleans on August 25th, spent like the weekend down there, and we knowing Katrina was coming. I flew into New Orleans. My parents picked me up. We spent a day in New Orleans, and then we drove over to Biloxi and spent a couple of days over there. Because it was like my birthday plus my aunt and uncle's like 50th wedding anniversary. And it was like my parents' wedding anniversary. Like everybody was having stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we all got together. And so like I was in Jackson Square, like on the 25th and whatever. And it was crazy to me to watch, knowing like, because the French Quarter was so not impacted that much. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right. And yes.
But I remember at the time I was obsessed anyway, just because like you're obsessed, you're watching it, like you can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
Watching it back 20 years later, and now hearing voices from the people that lived in the Ninth Ward
Mm.
is, to say heartbreaking is an
Yeah.
understatement, like soul crushing, especially because, so I bring all this up because I know we have a story about FEMA.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it highlighted at the time how bad FEMA's response was, how bad George Bush's response was.
Yes.
The fact that he was on vacation and didn't come off of vacation for days.
Pulling a Ted Cruz.
The fact that like they sent in one black lieutenant general, I think is what his rank was, who basically was like, this is what we're going to do. And he was able to clean the fucking place up. Otherwise, like I think those people would still be in the fucking Superdome at this point. Like it was, watching it was unbelievable.
I need to watch it because, we went to New Orleans for the first time last October for our anniversary, and never having been, we learned a lot, like when we did our cemetery tour and that kind of stuff. And he was explaining to us like how, to your point, that down there at Jackson Square and all that was not underwater, even though the fucking river's right there. It's the lay of the land. And then our hotel wasn't that far from the Superdome. So then like when you realize, I need to go back and watch it. Yeah, it was catastrophic, like just a fucking shit show letdown all the way around.
Yeah, well, and there was like a conspiracy theory that everyone in New Orleans believes, which is when Hurricane Betsy came through in 1965, they intentionally blew the levees so that the floodwaters would hit like the Ninth Ward in that district and not make it all the way into the French Quarter. And so to have that happen again, it was just, I mean, it was shocking. Like, and not that they blew the levees in this time, and this time they just failed. Right. But at the end of the day, like it was just to hear it is amazing. But
it shows what you can't turn everything back over to the States. They don't have enough money. That's why the levees fucking failed, because they needed massive overhaul and there wasn't fucking money to do it.
Well, especially because they had been built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Yeah. And so to your point, like they were built and then they were just left and nothing had been done to fix or repair them. Yes, 1000%. But regardless, it really, really shows how critical FEMA is and how it has to be. Yeah. So I know that the story that we heard this week was that I guess several FEMA employees have sent a letter to Trump
Mm-hmm.
that basically was like, the director of FEMA sucks balls. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, so there was 180 current and former FEMA staffers that signed a public letter warning that the Trump administration is weakening the disaster response agency's capacity and preventing it from carrying out its mission. 36 of those staffers signed their names to that letter. And by Wednesday morning, because that happened last Tuesday, by Wednesday, they were all without jobs.
And they got put
Because
on leave,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, yeah, the letter was published online by the group Stand Up for Science, but it was addressed to the FEMA Review Council, which the Trump administration set up to explore ways to reform the agency. They were placed on leave on Tuesday after signing their names to the public letter.
I mean, like we saw Katrina, we saw Texas and the problems they had there. We saw Asheville, North Carolina.
Yep.
We have seen disasters occurring all over the country. Like climate change, we know is real. We're seeing the effects of that. How in the world are we saying to ourselves, this is the time that we need to stop beefing up our emergency response?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how is that fucking possible that this is what we're going to do?
And then we're going to punish people who are more or less whistleblowers.
That's right. Well, and to your point, we have anti-whistleblower laws in this country. Like, how is this not against the law? Like, I have a hard time believing that this is legal.
I think that, so I'm going to read this to you and then tell you what I think about this. So Wednesday morning, the group's website, that Stand Up for Science, was updated with a statement notifying the public of the administration's response to the letter. 24 hours after receiving the Katrina declaration from the brave FEMA workers, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's chief of staff has summarily sanctioned the public signatories with immediate suspension. The group issued a statement of solidarity with the brave FEMA staffers who signed their names to the letter. They should haul her ass in front of Congress.
Yeah.
They should haul her fucking ass in front of Congress, and she should be forced to resign.
Yes.
Like, to your point, we have anti-whistleblower laws in this. That's how Enron got brought down.
Yeah.
That's what created the anti-whistleblower laws that we have. She should be hauled in front of fucking Congress for multiple reasons. But let's start here, and we can just tack on all the other shit to it.
Yes, exactly right. Like, I just don't understand how this isn't like immediately fucking illegal. It just absolutely makes it insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we can haul in RFK Jr. right after her.
Can we haul in RFK Jr. like first?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like he's doing more damage to the American public
and the rest of the country. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, like FEMA, in all fairness, like I get you call in FEMA when you need them, but at the end of the day, like 6 employees from FEMA are not going to have the widespread impact that fucking dipshit RFK Jr. has. Mm-hmm. So tell me about the FDA COVID things that you have on that.
So full disclosure, because I got super depressed. So when I was working on this Saturday and Sunday. So I have a lot of like high level notes and not a lot of deep details. So what I know is that 16 states are, I believe, not going to be doing the COVID vaccine. Or at least they're not willing to do it outside of what. So the CDC has said you must be 65 and older to receive the COVID vaccine. If you're under that age, you must have another comorbidity reason to be able to receive it. So I think CVS came out and said they just won't be doing it at all. I mean, and a lot of us, myself included, that's where I've always gotten my vaccines.
Me too.
Since like, because I haven't had an MD. I'm getting ready to see an MD for the first time in October. But like, since prior to COVID, I haven't had a true MD. I've never needed one. I like quit needing one. I go to the Minute Clinic at CVS if I need something, and I've gone there to get my COVID vaccines, my flu vaccines, like all the things. And so now CVS is like, no, we can't, because you're going to need, like, they're going to have to, there's all these hoops they're going to have to jump through to prove that that the reason they gave you the COVID vaccine fits within these CDC reasons. And so he's doing so much. And he fired, or has attempted to fire, I think there's a lawsuit pending now, the head of the CDC. She was appointed last month. Then we had the CDC director or whatever. Then we had those 3 CDC, I don't know their titles necessarily. I thought I had it in here somewhere, but that they walked out in protest on like Thursday or Friday. So it's just
one
what
problem
the fuck
after another,
after the other.
after another.
Yeah. It's just fucking constant, and it is not getting any better.
Yeah. I did read that like a group of former CDC directors like came out and just blasted RFK Jr. about how bad of a job he is doing.
Well, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but after the horrible school shooting last week, at the Catholic school, this dumb motherfucker got on the news and said that they're looking into the antidepressants, because they're pretty sure the antidepressants that this individual, who in their manifesto wrote that they were a trans individual and they were railing along all kinds of things about lots of different things. Yeah. But they were on antidepressants. And so clearly it's the antidepressants. That's what's causing these school shootings, not guns. Not the single biggest killer of children in this country. Right. And so now we're going to look at the antidepressants. And so I'm like, we will literally, this is what happens when you have someone who does not have a medical background and doesn't believe in science running our health department. Like, we're not going to be able to get vaccines.
Yeah. Well, to your point, like, we're going to have to pay for them. Our insurance isn't going to cover them because they're not going to cover them if they don't have to cover them. Right. Now, I'll be honest. If I own a company, or if I'm managing or running a company, I am going to provide access to these vaccines because, by God, I want my staff to live. I want them to be healthy. Like, my VP just had COVID and he was fucking under the weather for days. Yeah. Like, it's still, even if it's not killing people like it was, people are still dying. Yes. And people are still getting sick, and it's bad.
Well, like, and here's like what you had said earlier about, wanting to hear from MAGA on certain things. I would like to hear from a MAGA supporter on what happened to, let me talk to my doctor and make a decision that's best for me. Right. You don't decide, like, make it available. And if I choose to not get the vaccine because it's not something I think I need, or I've talked about it with my doctor and I have these other underlying health issues, whatever the reason may be, I'm not going to get it. And if I want to get it, let me fucking get it. It doesn't hurt you to let me get a goddamn vaccine.
Yep. Because it's all about control.
Exactly. These are the same fucking people that flip the fuck out because they were asked to wear a mask to keep other people from getting sick and keep themselves from getting sick. Yep. But now you want to make sure that nobody can access a vaccine because you don't believe in it.
Right. Right.
I don't believe in your God either, but you're making sure that the 10 Commandments show up in our fucking public schools.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
The hypocrisy makes me want to just throat punch everybody. I can't fucking
It does. And I know there are things on the left that we can be hypocritical about as well. I get it.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I feel that the hypocrisy on the right is so prevalent and so obvious that it absolutely blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned something earlier about starting to feel some
depresso.
Yeah. Some, like, before they start banning our antidepressants, like, yeah, it's starting to feel real. Like,
it's fucking heavy all the time. Like,
it is.
I was working on this on Sunday and I'm doing good. And then I get down here to notes about, like, what were some of my notes that I'm like, Border Patrol agents arrest 2 firefighters
Trump bringing back checks for
Yes.
citizen applications.
Yes. And the Border Patrol agents and ICE arresting 2 firefighters who are battling a wildfire.
Battling wildfire.
And I'm just like, I can't, I had to walk away from it because I'm like, this shit, and so, like, we just need our listeners to know we get depresso too, but it's still important that we bring this out here and, like, talk to you about it, talk to each other about it, whatever. I just had hit a wall with it. And I was like, I'm not even going to fill out any more notes. I can't even look any more of this up because it's just
too depressing. Well, especially because, to your point, in the past, like even with Trump's first presidency, he did a lot of bad, but he didn't do this much bad. Yeah. And we've never had a Democratic president that's done this much good. So I think that's what's so fucking hard this time is the fact that not only was there a clear playbook, but they are like
fast forwarding on it. Yeah. Yes. And the gas pedal is to the floor. To the floor.
To your point, it's to the fucking floor. And that is hard, I think, for us to deal with.
Yeah.
Just like I'm sure it's hard for all of you. So, you know, we definitely feel that. Okay, well, we are close to our time. And since we are feeling a little bit of this, tell me that you have a happy ending.
I do have a happy ending for you. Okay, let me put my chapstick on first.
You and your chapstick.
I'm never without my chapstick.
She has an addiction that is, well, I guess me and my Diet Coke, her and her chapstick. Yeah.
Oh God, I have a horrible addiction. Like I come to your house and I get my chapstick out and I put it at my place at your dining room table because this is where I'm gonna sit. Okay. Yes. So as everyone is aware, or maybe everyone's not aware, I wouldn't be aware if I didn't live with the people I live with. Last weekend was the beginning of college football. So yay, college football. So the reason I'm saying that is because our happy ending has to do with college football and a cat. Okay. And you used to have a cat.
Yes.
And so I feel like this is a great little, like, they just kind of go together. Okay. So Pudge the cat is lifting spirits in a college football locker room after an injury.
Aww.
Okay. So I know, right? Okay. So during a recent practice at Bowling Green University in Ohio, a player suffered a serious injury and the team was devastated. But number 47, George Carlson, knew a cat who could help. He carried the fluffy, exotic, short-haired cat into the locker room, believing he could lift everyone's spirits. Pudge did the rest. The players were captivated by the new tawny mascot. He received pats and scratches and brought smiles to everyone in the room. He is a feline-sized brown and orange cat. They got him a jersey. And there's videos of him with the players that went viral on social media. A reporter recently even tried to interview Pudge, but he had no comment.
Can I tell you? So I have looked up pictures. I just looked up a picture of this Pudge the cat.
Did you? Yes.
This has got to be the cutest fucking picture I've ever seen.
He's so freaking cute. And this article doesn't explain like what the injury was or anything like that. But who even cares? Because his little smooshed face makes me want to kiss him so badly.
Yeah. So
do you see him in his jersey?
I will make sure to put up Pudge the cat information.
Oh my God. He's so freaking cute. So you can see a picture. Yes. He's so freaking cute. Yeah.
I want this cat.
I know. He's so cute. Yeah. So the new season started on August 28th, and the pug-faced Persian is starring as the unofficial mascot of the Bowling Green Falcons. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I love this cat so much. I feel like we need a cat. Cute? I think one of us needs to have a cat.
I can't have a cat because Layla's kind of a cunt, and she doesn't like cats, and my husband doesn't like cats. So you get the cat, and then I'll come to your house and love on it.
First, can we clarify that Layla is your dog?
Yes. Yes. So sorry. Yes. Layla
I can't remember if you've ever used your daughter's name on this. And so I just want to make sure
not my daughter.
Realizes,
yes. No. Layla is our,
the cunty bitch in your house is your, your dog.
Is our pit bull. Yes. That was our COVID adoptee. Yes.
Yes. I will also say that I don't know how Betty would do with a cat. We've talked about this because she really wants to make friends with a cat. And so I'm tempted to take her over to mom and dad's house and let her meet their cat.
Their cat? No.
We'll see what happens.
Really wants to chew their faces off.
So Misha runs shit in her house, in my mom and dad's house. And Betty is kind of a wimp at the end of the day. So I feel like Misha would have Betty
It would
whipped
go
into
really
shape
well.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Speaking of, there's
She's like,
our
I
there's
heard my name. What did you
yeah, she's
need?
like, I heard my name. That's right.
Exactly.
She's on patrol, as you can tell, watching the
Exactly.
neighborhood. Okay, well, I love that happy ending. I am
Good.
going to, again, and when we put this on YouTube, I'll make sure that I put a picture up so you guys can all see who Pudge the cat is, because
Yes.
that is like the cutest fucking cat in the world.
Adorable. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been another episode of Find Out Nation. We really appreciate all of you that are still listening. And if you don't mind liking this video would be great. And then, of course, subscribing so you get notified of new videos in the future. Or if you're listening to us through audio, you can get us through any of your podcast channels. I don't think there's like one that I haven't like added us to. So honestly, you should be able to find us anywhere you want. With that said, we love you all. We hope you have a fantastic week. And please don't let the depressive thoughts
Don't let it
intrude
win.
too much.
That's right. That's right.
Try
Stay strong.
and find some good stories
Find some
around
Pudge
Pudge
the
the cat.
cat.
That's right. Exactly right. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.